This is breaking news.
And good evening, I'm Dan Rice, live in Chopper 2, and what you're looking at here is the dignified transfer of fallen officer Jonathan Diller, who was killed earlier this evening at a traffic stop in Far Rockaway. They just brought him out of the hospital and into that ambulance. We just saw his fellow officers giving him one last salute as he leaves the hospital. And now what they'll do is, in that special NYPD ambulance, they will take him from Queens over to the medical examiner's office in Manhattan, over on East 26th Street near Bellevue Hospital. And many times what we'll see when they do this transport on a lot of the overpasses on the sides of the highways, many times the FDNY and the EMS folks will be on the side of the roadway up on the overpasses, also saluting the ambulance as it passes by. This will be a large motorcade. I can show you here on that service road, the Van Wyck. They just left Jamaica Medical Center, and you can see the large number of police vehicles that are behind that ambulance. And what they'll do is it looks like they'll go over Jamaica Avenue, go up the hillside and get onto the Van Wyck. If you look down below, you can see all that traffic stopped on the Van Wyck Expressway. While they make the turns, we'll bring the camera up there and show you where they have the traffic all stopped there, so that way nobody is in the way as they try to make their way over to Manhattan. And if you were watching a few minutes ago, you saw not only NYPD folks outside waiting to salute their fallen brother, but also we saw what appeared to be numerous family members come out of the hospital just before they brought the stretcher out. And they were lined up next to the door. And we heard the bagpipes playing in the background as they moved the stretcher from the hospital into the ambulance. You'll see the motorcycles zip by here every once in a while. Of course, that's who's blocking off the traffic, so the procession can make its way from Queens into Manhattan. And I will warn everybody that at some point we may lose the procession because of the airspace that we are in right now. But we'll keep this as long as we can for you. And you'll see them now leaving the Van Wyck service road and making their way onto the main highway. And like I said before, police aviation up here with us. They will escort this transport, transfer, over to Manhattan. You can see now they're making their way onto the Van Wyck. Yes. That is correct, yes. You're welcome. And for those watching along on the stream, we're just talking to our assignment desk, relaying information, talking to Cat Falcon on our assignment desk. And you can see now as they make their way onto the highway, they will continue this ride. Hard to tell yet exactly where they'll go, but more than likely they tend to go up the Grand Central Parkway and work their way over to the Long Island Expressway. You can see already we're being blocked by some of the structures there. And again, if they go the way we expect them to go, they'll go out to the Grand Central Parkway, LIE, follow the LIE into the Midtown Tunnel, and then either down the FDR Drive or probably down the FDR Drive and make their way over towards East 26th Street, just off of First Avenue. That's where the medical examiner's office is. Again, we see that procession making its way up the Van Wyck. And here's what we're talking about before. There you see FDNY apparatus on the overpass here. And a little hard to see in the dark there, but you see members of, it looks like Engine 315 and Tower Ladder 125 perhaps. A little hard to see in the dark. Saluting the motorcade, saluting the slain officer as they make their way up the highway. We'll get into the into the Kew Gardens interchange, excuse me. You can see some of the traffic on the upper right side of your screen being held. From this angle, a little hard to tell, but it appears to me to be the Grand Central Parkway that's being held right now. Again, we see more of the motorcycle unit holding on to traffic there. You have not only New York City Police, but you also have the New York State Police helping with the escort. And there is the ambulance that is carrying the body of 31-year-old police officer Jonathan Diller. You can see that making their way on the Grand Central Parkway now. And that's the ambulance we just saw leave Jamaica Hospital Medical Center. Again, not your typical EMS ambulance. This one operated by the Emergency Service Unit of the NYPD. As Christine Johnson and I were talking about before on the broadcast side, unfortunately, we've seen too many of these type of transfers happen, and that's the ambulance they typically use to move a slain officer from a hospital over to the medical examiner's office. And like I said, we'll give you one last shot here. Unfortunately for us, we're going to have to leave the scene some point soon here. And Eric, was that we have to leave because of fuel, or have to stop? Okay. And we'll talk to our assignment desk here for a minute, folks. Chopper 2 to the assignment desk. We are going to have to depart for fuel. Okay. Thank you. And for our folks on the live stream, like I said, that's we're going to have to leave you here with the coverage at this point. But again, they're making their way to the medical examiner's office with a motorcade with fallen officer Jonathan Diller. And for now, I'm Dan Rice, live in Chopper 2. We'll leave you with this shot.